All right, this is the Blairing Out with Eric Blair show, and today I'm pleased to have Chad Nicefield of Wilson on the show. How's it going today, Chad?
Good, man. Thanks for having me.
See, why can't everybody have a name like Nicefield?
Exactly. I don't know.
It's so nice.
We should just give everybody here. Your name is now Nicefield. Yeah, yeah. Every serial killer in the world's last name is Nicefield.
You know, there's a rumor that the longer that beard gets, the more successful Wilson becomes.
I hope not, because I've hit my man threshold for the next few years at least, because it's been sitting here for about a year and a half at the same length. I trim it and you know, put some nice tea tree oil in it and all that stuff to try to get it to grow, take vitamins, and this is it. So maybe I'm stalwarting our band.
How about you could do the Brazilian blowout?
What's that?
It's this thing for like kinky, like curly hair, and it'll straighten it so you can have this flowing beard.
Okay, I didn't know that. Some mane and tail, is that what they call it?
It only costs $150.
Oh, that's it?
That's it.
I got that in my pocket. My hand's covering it right now.
And while we're here at Chain Reaction, you guys are road dogs.
Yeah, I would say. I mean, I feel like it. I mean, my back feels like it. We're a road dog. Wilson is known as like a party animal band. You guys live to party, correct? I'd say it's just in our genes, being from the Midwest. Do we live to party? I don't know if that would be it's more or less we have to. It's just part of our being, you know.
But how are you able to have this out of control partying every night and then get up and rock an audience the next day without destroying your body and destroying your health?
I would have to also include the show itself as part of that party. So whether we're, you know, consuming copious amounts of alcohol and blah, 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 part of that could be just the show, you know, like, yeah, we drink and do all those things. I'm currently nursing a pretty harsh hangover from Las Vegas last night. But, I mean, it's just what we do, you know. You
have to party when you go to Las Vegas.
Yeah, and party hardy I did.
Yeah. How did your early youth in Port Huron shape you as a person?
Where I was born, and most places in Michigan in general, you know, it's very much about your upbringing. We have strong families there. My mom and my dad were very close and integral in you know, me growing up, and then my environment of Port Huron. You're just far enough away from the city to where like you don't go there ever unless it's like a special thing. So you kind of like have this group of people, and that it is your base, your foundation that you kind of carry on with the rest of your life. And that those I guess those values that you learn in those small towns and then applying it later on in life is pretty much the exact way that I grew up that way, you know.
How'd you get the gig singing for Wilson?
I met Jayson. He was playing in another band at the time, and he showed me the project, and they had another singer, and they needed somebody who was going to be doing it full time because they just wasn't taking it as seriously, I guess. So I tried out and became the dude. Yeah, we've known each other from other musical projects in the past.
Were you an outcast or part of the in crowd in high school?
I'd have to say I got along with everybody.
So
yeah, I played Dungeons and Dragons, and I played basketball, that sort of thing. If you can, you know, like I was a little bit of a bard, if you will, in high school. I got along with everybody.
So
I got laid.
Did you go to the prom?
I did, yeah. I think so. Yep, I did. My freshman year, I went to like some sort of dance, and I believe that she got caught giving blowjob to another dude in the bathroom. At that period of time, and that was my first like school formal dance experience. So I think everything else after that was set the bar pretty low, so I'm sure it was a pretty good time if I can remember correctly. Too many beers, I suppose.
When do you feel most alive, when you're on stage or off stage?
Oh, definitely when I'm on stage, yeah. There's a moment of, you know, clarity and power that you just is in your guts, you know. You can see it in everybody else's eyes. Your life is bringing life to other people's lives, and you know, that sort of feeling is definitely very much of a live feeling.
So do you live to be on stage?
I don't know if I live to be on stage, but I love to be on stage.
Could you live without it?
I never think about it, so I wouldn't be able to answer that.
Okay.
Honestly.
Who came up with the cover art for Full Blast Fuckery?
The concept was came upon by myself, and then I had a friend of mine do the artwork from back home, and he drew it by hand, and we stayed hours together over the course of a couple of weeks and going through the different you know, imagery of what we wanted to look like and what we were trying to portray, and the characters, John and Harry, on the front of the album artwork, and where they came from and what they're trying to do, just to try to give the overall idea of what the listener was going to get. I remember when I got records, I liked to see the album artwork, and I liked the intricate details of it, and it kind of gave me like some sort of idea of what I was going to get into in the record, you know. And then something when you're on the toilet taking a shit and you're reading, you know, you're just taking note of all these small little details. So we wanted it to be something like that.
Tell me the story behind the characters. Who came up with them? Whose concept?
It's kind of an inner band thing. Had done these voice recordings on the road for a long time. Like, instead of listening to music, we would record these scenarios that we would play back or whatever through our speakers of different situations, and we created these characters called John and Harry. And then the idea was we turned them into these like party animal guys or whatever from Canada and Detroit, and you know they merged, and when a nuclear explosion happened at an old Ford plant in Detroit, this wolf and this rat mutated into like real life party animals, and the dude who was in had his like car doors open blasting some Wilson when the nuclear explosion happened, so they became like our diehard fans, and you know there's like a whole backstory to it and stuff.
Let's say a nuclear bomb was to be dropped in America. Would you like to be at ground zero, or would you like to be far away?
Bring it on, I'll take it.
You want to be at ground zero?
Yeah, I'll take it. Yeah.
Would you rather die instantly?
Yeah, we'd rather die instantly. Yeah.
I know, that makes sense. I don't want to rot.
Yeah.
You know? What brings you the most peace in your life right now, and why? Besides the band.
Your questions are pretty wild. The third row of this van is probably the most peaceful thing that has been brought into my life. You know, when you're on the road, I kind of claim my little area there, and that's I can thoroughly look forward to being in that row when we're driving, and you know, going down the road. That's like my little, I guess right now, that brings me the most peace in my life right now.
Do you see Wilson as a platinum act?
A platinum record selling? I don't think that many rock bands nowadays are able to do that. So no, I don't think. When we started the band, we never thought about what it could possibly become. We just kind of live in the moment of what we would like it to be at that period of time. And now, as we've been on the road more and have a record out and kind of see a little bit clearer of what we could do with it, yeah, I mean, I think that we all want, you know, no one, you're a liar if you say the first time you didn't pick up your guitar to play rock and roll, you weren't thinking about being on the cover of Rolling Stone or some shit like that. Those dreams dissipate when you realize the reality of the music business, and that it takes a lot of dicks to get to that, to get on that cover. So I think that we have the balls and the fortitude to make it fucking happen, but the platinum selling record rock and roll acts nowadays are very few and far between. I would just be happy to have a second record that people like.
We always have Five Finger Death Punch to look up to, because they just put out a double album and it went top 40, and it was, I think it was #1 for like a little while.
Yeah. I mean, those dudes are definitely doing it. You know, they're doing it. They're one of the only bands right now that is doing that, you know.
Does sex, drugs, and rock and roll own you, or do you own it?
I don't know if I really live that lifestyle or believe that lifestyle. Sex, drugs, and rock and roll is not what the band is particularly based upon. Rock and roll and booze, I guess, yes, but the sex, drugs, and rock and roll lifestyle isn't really like what we're out here trying to accomplish. We're out here trying to have a party and give people good rock and roll tunes. As far as the drugs and sex go, if that happens to fall on top of each other and form a fuck shit stack, then yeah, I guess it doesn't control us, but we don't control it. It's a variable.
What inspired the lyrics to, and I'm going to start off with My Life, My Grave?
That's from my dad. You know, I've been doing music for a long time, and you know, I had every band has, you know, kind of gotten to that spot where it was like, okay, this is gonna work, and then it dissipated. And this is the first time with this band that like I can, you know, like I said, I can see the future, and it's looking pretty cool. And I wrote the song as a way to, you know, say, you know, it's like, you know, one time in your life that is one day you're gonna do that sort of thing. And my dad has always been very supportive of me. So that song I definitely wrote for my dad. The title, My Life, My Grave, is basically saying, you know, I'm gonna do it my way, you know.
Better Off, Strictly Dudes.
That one is about an old friend of ours who we didn't particularly care for her choice of a lifestyle and what she was doing with herself at the time, and that's where that kind of came about. She had was married and all that sort of thing, and I was always thinking about her significant other and how shitty of a situation he was put into.
Passing on the Left.
That one's about Detroit. everybody calls this the Detroit Rock City, Motor City, all those sorts of things. Our idea of it, there's like these imagery of speed and going fast and the vehicles that you choose in life. And so I mean, that's pretty much, I wrote that with the vision of how I would want, my young kid to see Detroit or whatever.
Do you see Detroit as still the murder, stab, kill capital of the United States?
No, I mean, I've lived in those murder, stab, kill areas. I live on 8 Mile, and I don't ever have an issue. I particularly you're a victim of your surroundings, of course, in any place and shape that you live. But I feel like you can make the stupid decision in anywhere to get yourself killed, stabbed, whatever. If you're minding your P's and Q's and watching, your surroundings, you don't have anything to worry about. Let
me just give a disclaimer. I'm not saying that place is murder, stab, kill. It's just that everybody else says it is.
We get a bad rap. I have nothing but love for the city, and every person in our band and people from back home, they wish that we didn't have that view of us, because I mean, for everything that's negative that you read about, there's a million things that are positive going on that you don't read about. The land in Detroit in general is full of vast opportunities for any young up and coming artist or musician or whatever, any of the cultural things or whatever are booming there. Maybe we're broke, but that's where the most creative things get inspired, I suppose, right?
Well, look at the Clash and the Sex Pistols living on the Dole.
There you go.
Right, the whole punk scene came out of guys living on the Dole.
Yeah,
in England. So it forces you to be great.
Exactly. You have something to prove there.
And rise up to the shining.
Exactly.
Let's not forget Iggy Pop and the Stooges, the MC5. They all came out of Detroit.
They all came out of it when there was a recession then too. Yeah.
Are you living the rock and roll dream right now, and why?
I would say yes, because I'm out here playing shows and performing in front of people and getting to change somebody's day, that's the rock and roll lifestyle to me. Am I making money and doing all those sorts of things? No, and we never started the band for that in general. If it ever happens, awesome. But the rock and roll lifestyle for me is to load my shit into that venue, play in front of as many people that are there, and have them leaving going like, oh, I'm so excited that I didn't sit my ass at home on the internet tonight, and I came out and lived my own life.
Who is a Wilson fan?
You're a Wilson fan. A Wilson fan is a person who comes to a show early and stays late. They're there to experience. I'm extremely proud when I see those people come there and they take in the whole show from the first band to the last band, and they're there to have a good time. A Wilson fan is a hard-working, middle-class motherfucker. Somebody that's, when it's Friday, it's ready to. They're ready to release those weekday demons. I feel like any regular human being who isn't pretentious enough to snob something is a Wilson fan. The people that can understand that. I mean, we're not breaking any mold here, like we're playing rock and roll music and we're having a really fucking good time doing it, and I feel like anybody who can appreciate that is a Wilson fan, and there's tons of them out there.
Are you a spiritual person, and if so, can you define it?
I am not. I believe in my own life. I believe that everything I do has an effect to other people's lives around me, but I don't know if I hold very many spiritual beliefs or believe that there's something higher controlling me. I know that there's variables in my life, and every time I do this, something else comes from it, for sure. But I don't know where that comes from, and to tell you the honest truth, I should probably spend a little bit more time figuring it out, huh?
Did your parents impress any spiritual values on you?
No. My parents gave me the option to do whatever I wanted to do when I was a kid. I got kicked out of church because I wanted to be a Boy Scout, and they didn't like the Boy Scout code because of where they put God in their oath. And I chose to stay in Boy Scouts, and my parents had no, I'm gonna make a pine box derby car and race that and go fuck around in the woods, and that sounds way cooler of a childhood than sitting in a stinky basement, doing the Bible school thing. So I chose that.
Tell me about your experience opening for ex-Metallica bassist Jayson Newsted.
Jayson is a fucking dude. That dude fucking rules. He took us out on the road and was nothing but kind to us, and playing before a legend like that is every kid's dream. I can't even begin to describe like how awesome that feeling was, just to be like, that's fucking Jayson Newsted, you know, fucking Black Album, man, fucking Ride the Light, you know, like all those things that were in when you were a kid, you just like dreamed one day may or may not happen, and that was like one of the bigger dreams. That and Guar and things like that have been around, like legendary acts that have been around for a long time that said, hey, you guys, come hang out with us for a while, you know.
See, they recognize the talent.
I mean, I think they definitely you know made it clear that they chose us, so that was cool.
And what did you learn anything? Did he teach you anything?
I would have to say, not personally, he didn't hand off you know the baton or any sort of thing like that, but you could tell in that dude's like just watching what he does in his daily performance of life. You can pick up some pretty cool clues of how to treat other people and how to treat yourself. Do
you still have faith in the political leaders of our time?
I'm not a very politically involved dude. I never have been. My family never was when I was being raised or whatever. So I have faith in the people, you know, because we're out here doing it, you know, and if we all work our hardest, this is just a little bump that we're going to overcome. I don't know if I have faith in particular one person or one leader or whatever's going on in our current state of government issues, but I do know that I have faith in my fellow man.
What is Wilson's mission statement?
Rock and roll is fun, and rock and roll is supposed to be fun. Rock and roll wears a bunch of different hats. We're out here trying them all on and trying to, you know, our mission is just to have a good time and bring entertainment the way it's supposed to be brought. And I don't want anybody staring at the floor or worrying about who's around them, or, you know, they're supposed to shut off and release at a rock and roll show, and that's what we're trying to do, you know, like we want you to take in every penny of that entertainment dollar when you come to a show. It's hard to get that money nowadays, especially where we are. So when you're paying $10, $15, $20 or whatever to come to a show, I fully expect to make sure that person leaves going like, I'm really excited that I didn't spend that $20 on a fucking scratch-off lottery ticket or some shit like that, and then I came out and saw real human beings interacting in front of me.
Have you ever said no to a female groupie, and if so, why?
I have a girlfriend, so if any chick ever comes on to a dude like me, I always say no.
What was the best part of making the music video for College Gangbang? See, titles like that and music videos give people the idea, even though you guys are playing superheroes in the video, it kind of does give people the idea of like, these guys are like hitting everything that casts a shadow on the road. You know what I mean?
There's some single dudes in the band. I mean, there's definitely the debaucherous thing. Me personally, no. I don't play music for pussy. You know, I play music for what we just discussed about. But my favorite part of making College Gangbang was the blowjob scene, to talk a little bit about sex, drugs, and rock and roll, because watching it happen, like, it was actually like watching, you just kind of got shy and kind of like, oh man, that dude's really, you know, like, I just walked on and a dude really getting a blowjob or something. They did it so well, like, everybody was so pumped on it, and just, it was a moment of silence when it was like, everybody's jaw was dropping, like, holy crap, you know? That was the best part. The whole day was awesome. It was a really long day. All of our friends came out and we partied pretty hard. Got a keg at like 2 p.m. and everybody was wasted by 6, and then trying to like stay alive till 3 a.m. You know, it was pretty harsh day, but it's a good time.
Whose concept was the video?
That's mine.
You came up with the whole concept. Did you write it? Did you write the script?
I wrote the treatment and everything. Yeah. Nice. My buddies shot it from back home. Club Davison is what they go underneath, and pretty much for the majority of the part, any of the music videos that we've done, they always come from you know, my treatments or whatever that I write, and then I have my buddies back home shoot it. Usually you always stay in Detroit for those sorts of things, keep the work there.
What does the title Bro Rock mean to you? Because you don't seem like a bro to me.
I'd never heard the band be called Bro Rock
Well,
before.
There's a quote that I read in one of your interviews that you quoted that you call it Bro Rock.
I have no clue. I hope that's not a bad thing. I mean, it sounds kind of bad. It sounds like fucking football player rock and roll or something, you know? I mean, I definitely know that our band, we're energetic music, you know? If you're out there playing a sport, you're out there at the gym, you're trying to get pumped up, this is the type of shit that, you listen to. I have tons of friends that are like gym enthusiasts that are like, dude, I put your record on every time I go to the gym, which is awesome. Music is supposed to elevate those sorts of senses. I don't know if bro rock sounds like, I'm gonna give fucking kid a noogie while I'm listening to your record, dude. So I mean, I hope no one's getting any swirlies out there or anything, but fuck.
How would you define the word love?
The word love. I'm really interested in your questions. I honestly, like, I was totally prepared to give like a normal interview. I just have to say that I was like totally prepared to give a normal interview. I'm like, fuck, I'm kind of hungover. This is gonna be, I just go through the motions and whatnot. But these questions are kind of sobering me up, which is awesome because I think I needed it. Love. I think I would define love by the butterflies that I love my dudes the same as I love my girlfriend and my mom and my dad. Like whenever you get that sense of the elevated sense of a rush around somebody, that to me is the definition of love. It comes in all sorts of sizes and shapes and formulas, but that overall, those goosebumps, the overall rush of adrenaline, that's love. That's love every time I go on the stage, because that's exactly what I feel. It's the same way every time I come home and see my girlfriend, or when I go and visit my mom and my dad, or my best buddies go out and we were getting ready to go to the bar or something like that at home, or when I hear that fucking Ramones tune on the jukebox in my shitty fucking neighborhood bar or whatever back home. Like, those are all the same feelings. It's all categorized by that.
Do you believe Hitler's in hell?
If there is a fucking hell, yes, he's in hell. I don't know if I don't believe in heaven or hell, but if he's in a fucking whatever terrible place there is where I believe that he's at. Yes.
How do you take care of your voice, man? Because you've got this incredible range. I mean, you can scream it out, and I've even heard that you covered AC/DC songs and did the Bon Scott and Brian Johnson version and kicked butt.
That's cool that you know that. I take care of my voice. I'm a pretty particular dude about like routines and what I do and before a show, and I drink a lot of water and I try to rest as much as I possibly can, but we all know that's not going to happen on the road. These things are happening, booze is happening, all that sort of thing. I think that like one day it'll catch up to me for sure, but I try to monitor what I'm putting in my body, at least. Not a lot of dairy, when I'm out here.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just have like particular routines, from like taking water to taking emergency to then after I take the emergency, I take, this little lozenger thing or whatever, and then I don't talk for like a half hour, and then I warm up for like 10 minutes before a show or something, just to try to give myself some time to get there. Do
you guys have access to in-ear monitors yet?
No, we use monitors at the venue.
Okay, would you like to have in-ear monitors?
I don't know. I think it'd be, I thrash around so much that I feel like I would just end up breaking them or they'd fall out. Yeah, like I said, I don't even wear fucking earplugs, which I should, but I just can't imagine them not coming out of my head. We did like this audio tree session the other day where we had to wear headphones because it was like live in studio. And I had to like duct tape the headphones on my head just so I could do my thing without them flying off or whatever.
So you headbang a lot.
Yes, yeah. I constantly have a bang over going on in the back.
You need to have a talk with Jayson Newsted about that.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be nice to sit down and talk about some bangover issues.
Because, that he kind of just had to like lay off that.
Yeah, he fucked up his shoulders too.
Yeah. 2 or 3 favorite bands from then and now.
I like a lot of 90s stuff. I listen to, like, one of my favorite bands of all time is the Toadies. Okay. From Texas. I listen to a lot of Get Up Kids too in my formative years, and I listened to a lot of Nirvana when I was a kid. I went to go to the record store every single day and try to find rare, like live version stuff. So I'd say Nirvana and the Toadies really shaped, and Weezer and things like that, the Get Up Kids, they really shaped me when I was younger. That whole 90s kind of sound is what I look for in records nowadays. I don't really have too many bands that I just honestly love, like, that came out recently. I like Red Fang a lot. That's a band that I'm really, really into. And I'd have to say I love Clutch, but that's still an older band as well. There's nothing that I can think of that has come out. Night Verses? Oh yeah, they're from here. Night Verses. That record's awesome. We went on tour with them.
What's next for Chad Nicefield and Wilson?
I'm gonna go take a shit, and then I'm gonna go play a show.
All right. Well, Chad Nicefield, it's been great talking to you.
Thanks,
Great
man.
having you on the Blairing Out with Eric Blair show. Boom! Yeah! All right, this is the Blairing Out with Eric Blair show with Chad Nicefield of Wilson signing off.
The Blairing Out Show.